Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Johnny Bravo, but you can just call me Johnny. And this is my first YouTube video. Um, I've streamed on YouTube before, but I've never made a video dedicated to YouTube, so this is new for me. I've wanted to do it for a long time, and I've kind of hit the point where I'm just like, fuck it. And I've been sitting thinking, what would be a good first video for my channel? I figured, why did I start streaming and why did I want to make YouTube videos and stuff? And for me, it's just I've always loved to talk about movies, music, video games, TV shows, sports, just random stuff. I've liked talking about stuff with different people and getting other people's perspectives and opinions and views and stuff. And I like debating them, ranking stuff, reviewing stuff, and just discussing it. So I figured, why not have my first video be about my favorite video game that I'm obsessed with. Saying it's my favorite video game doesn't do it justice. It's one of my favorite things ever. I love it so much. You can probably tell by the shirt and the title of the video. I'm going to be ranking the characters in The Last of Us. Now, for those of you who don't know me personally or haven't seen my Twitch channel before, I stream on Twitch, Johnny Bravo 6, go follow. The first one's my favorite game ever, and I love part 2. It may be divisive. I'm one of the people that loved it. I mean, it just really impacted me like the first one did on different levels. Obviously, I like them for different reasons. I love the game. I love everyone involved with it. Neil, Ashley, Troy, Let's get into it. So the way I have this set up is I've got GOAT status, A, B, C, and then
I despise you.
And I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order. All the characters have like their name and picture there, so I'm just gonna go in the way they're listed. They're listed alphabetically, so we'll just do it like that. And I have to give a shout out to Dom the Bomb. I saw his video ranking the characters, and I thought about making this video for a while, and he has the same nifty hat as me, so the way I'm ranking these characters is based on my opinion. How much I like them, how just good of a character I thought they were overall, arc, development, and, just if I like them, Let's start with like the most controversial character in the entire franchise. Abby. Yes. So this is where I will either gain subscribers or people would never watch my YouTube channel again, depending on how I rank Abby. First time I played the game, didn't like her. I wanted Ellie to murder her. Just didn't like her half of the game. I streamed her for 12 hours straight. It was getting a little hot. And then, I played it again, took a step back. I observed everything in motion. I got everything the first time I played it. But I just wanted to,
Take it in.
when I played it the second time, her half of the game sat better for me. And her as a character started to sit better with me. I'm not saying I loved her, but I liked her a little bit more. Then my sister played it, and then I watched a bunch of YouTubers play it again just because, I'm an obsessive fanboy. I don't know, man. She started clicking with me more. I'm not saying I love her. We're not giving her GOAT status, but I don't despise her. I think her arc and the way she was written was phenomenal. I thought forcing you to basically like live 3 days in her shoes, whether you like it or not, whether you want to or don't, was a ballsy move by Naughty Dog. And I think for like narrative wise, storytelling wise, it worked. It worked. I got what they were going for. And sometimes what you need to hear is not what you want to hear. And in this case, it's like, You didn't necessarily want to see Abby's point of view. You didn't want her to get humanized after what she did to Joel, but they did it. I think I gotta give her an A. Like I said, well developed. I liked her arc. Her sarcastic, kind of snarky personality is starting to grow on me more. If she's in part 3, I would be intrigued to see where they go with her. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go to a more fun character. We got Bill. I love Bill so much. Bill, for me, and I'm not keeping you suspense here, is GOAT status. Some of you may think,
why the hell are you putting Bill in GOAT status? He's not in the first game that much.
But he's not in the game that much, but when he's there, he makes a great impression. His whole chapter of the game in his town is so fun. His, little dialogues, bickering with Ellie back and forth. I love it. It's so funny. He's a douche, but, I appreciate a good douche. I knew he wasn't going to be in the second one, but I was hoping he'd just stumble into Jackson. There's hope that my man will find his way to Jackson if we get a part 3. I hope. I love Bill. I'm excited to see what they do with him in the TV series too. So next up, we got David, the cannibal villain of the first game. He's like the main villain of the first game. I might be pissing everybody off with this video, but you know what? It's my opinion. I don't care. David, GOAT status. Now, I love villains. I can appreciate a good villain, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, my man Thanos. They're interesting. David, to me, was an interesting character. His little cult, well not cult, but his group of cannibals was interesting to me. It was creepy. All the stuff with him and Ellie is amazing. Nolan North knocks it out of the fucking park. I met him at Comic-Con and he did his voice for me and I was, little heebie-jeebies. Great villain. I don't think The Last of Us has had a better villain yet in the series. He is, when I think of The Last of Us, he's one of the first characters that pops in my head. He's so memorable. He's just, I don't know, he's like slimy but kind of charming in a way, but then he also cuts people up and eats them. Like, I don't know, he's just, I think he's a great character. Great performance by Nolan. Like I said, I might be a fucked up weirdo, but I love David. GOAT status. So now we got Dina. I saw some people when the game came out, they said that they didn't believe or they didn't buy into like Ellie and Dina's relationship. I couldn't disagree more. I love their relationship. I bought into it fully. Their little remarks back and forth to each other when you're riding around on the horse in day 1 in Seattle, just going through the city. The music store scene where Ellie's singing Take On Me to her. Oh. The farmhouse. Oh. I mean, like, they're just they're so great together. I thought the chemistry that Ashley and Shannon had together was great. I bought into everything with them. Same thing, I'd be interested to see what they do with her in a part 3. I'm assuming she went back to Jackson with JJ at the end of part 2. I still felt terrible for Ellie, but I get why she left. She put her body on the line to fight Abby, that absolute fucking unit of a woman, in the theater when Ellie was getting her ass kicked. I really like Dina. I think I'm gonna have to put her at A tier. I think I'm gonna have to do it. I would like to get more of her. I'd like to see Ellie and Dina's relationship develop a little bit more now that there's a little bit of like friction there. But yeah, I'll give her an A. Okay. Ellie. I mean, what do you want me to say? You know where Ellie is. You know. Ellie is fucking goated forever. One of the best characters in gaming one of the best characters I've ever seen in any type of media. I mean, what can I say? What are you supposed to say about Ellie? I mean, the first game, you see her through Joel's eyes, and you get to play as her a little bit too, but mainly you see her through Joel's eyes as like your cute little sassy, sarcastic, badass little girl, daughter figure. Grammar. Part 2, the development of her. I mean, the development of her in the first game too. I mean, after all the David shit, and after Sam and Henry, I mean, you could just see her start to, you know, she's getting a little bit more, you know, it's getting heavy. Things are getting heavy in her head. I think part 2 progressed her the most realistic way they could have. You know, she's not this happy little girl anymore. She's been through some shit. You know, she's been through some fucked up shit. And it shows. You still get little, you know, little glimpses of old Ellie out every now and then. Like in the farmhouse, like that was so, oh man, the farmhouse. Like, come on, bro. Like, how do you not like that? Anyway, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. Ellie's goated. She's one of the best characters out of anything I've ever seen. If there are video game Oscars, I know there's video game awards. Ashley Johnson, you know, you got it. You got everything. You got the awards. Okay, next up, we got Henry. And I really, really like Henry. Their whole chapter of the first game, you know, going around with Joel and Ellie when you're trying to run from the hunters. That whole chapter of the game is great. I mean, is there a bad chapter in the first game? No, but it's great. You know, it's great. Let's just get it out the way, bro. His death. So sad. It hits home. It hits like a truck. It just, you know, fuck. You know, Henry and Sam are going on the same journey as Joel and Ellie, basically. Trying to find their way in this world on their own quest. You know, they're trying to reunite with their people. And don't know if they're alive or dead, so they're just trying to scrounge and survive with what they can and what they can find. He was just a really likable character. His death was really sad. Good guy. I think I'm gonna have to put Henry in the... We're gonna put him in the A tier. I think he's a little bit above B. We'll put him in the A tier. So now we get to Isaac. I was really excited to see Isaac in part 2. You know, you're going around Seattle as Ellie, all you hear about is, oh, Isaac. You read notes about Isaac, hearing how terrible he is. You know, they really build him up. And when you meet him, you're like, oh shit, this is the guy. And then he disappears, and then when he comes back, he fucking dies. I wanted to love Isaac. I really did. I was like, oh man, is he gonna be the David in this game? And he just wasn't. But you see of him, I mean, he's just like a stereotypical kind of military leader guy. He's bad, he does bad shit, he's a bad guy. I really wanted more Isaac. I wanted him to be developed more. I wanted him to be more impactful, but he just wasn't. So with that, I don't despise you. I'm disappointed in you. I wanted more from you, so we're just gonna put you in C where you can think about what you did. And next up, we got Jerry. Now, Jerry is the father of Abby. He's the surgeon that Joel kills to save Ellie, that puts the whole, you know, wheel of motion going for part 2. His death is the reason why Abby is on the hunt for Joel, why she kills Joel. He's very, very, very important to like the mythos of The Last of Us. You kill him in part 1, not knowing who he is. He's just a surgeon, you know, we want Ellie. We're killing everybody in the hospital, then we're getting the fuck up on out of there. But in part 2, you know, they kind of pull back the curtain a little bit. You get to see this guy, see what he was doing, see his daughter. And, you know, it's hard for me not to feel bad for what happened to him. But at the same time, when you see him, I mean, he's just an average guy. He's a doctor, whatever. The one thing that made me, because I was like, all right, he's cool, he's whatever, you know, he's a nice guy. The one thing that makes me put him in C tier instead of like a B tier is that he told Marlene not to tell Joel that they were basically going to cut Ellie's head open and take her fucking brain out to make a cure. And when Marlene asked him if this was Abby, would you do the surgery? He couldn't answer it because he knew he wouldn't do it. So he wanted to do the surgery behind Joel's back, knowing damn well that if it was his daughter, he wouldn't let it happen. And he would have no idea because the doctor wouldn't tell him. That's fucked up. So that makes me not really like Jerry. With that being said, though, he was still in it. I mean, you know, he is innocent. He's just doing a surgery, but still, you know, it's complicated, whatever. Okay, moving on. We got our boy, Jesse. Now, I really, really like Jesse. I really do. I think what we get from him is really good. I was starting to really love him. But then, bam, his head gone. And he's just done. Like that. He's just gone.
It's kind of fucked up you did that.
And I can't help but feel like I wanted a little bit more. You know, his death still hit, but it wasn't like a lot of the other deaths in the game where like it hit you, like, you know, right in the heart. It was just like, oh shit, Jesse's fucking dead. He's gone. Like, it didn't bring a tear to my eye. I was just like, fuck, man. He was a good dude. Why? But there wasn't enough, I think, character development behind him to really make it hit like a Mack truck. But with that being said, he was a cool dude. He was funny. I liked him and Ellie's relationship. The little bit of Jesse and Dina we get to see is cool. Jesse was just a cool dude. He was just a cool dude. Good vibes. Ride or die for his homies. We love that. We love Jesse. But since he's not as developed as I would have liked to have seen, he's going to be our first character in the B tier. Now, can we just get a little Father, Son, and Holy Spirit for Joel, the king? You know where he's at. He's going in GOAT status right next to his daughter. I mean, what can you, it's the same thing as Ellie, what can you say about this man? First and foremost, I won't tolerate no Joel slander, okay? No one's slandering my man Joel. Same as Ellie, one of the best video game characters. Well, not one of, him and Ellie are like the best video game characters I've ever seen. So good that they surpass video games. They're just some of the best characters I've ever seen in anything. I mean, the first game, seeing him young with his daughter on his birthday, and then, you know, Outbreak Day happens, his daughter dying in his arms while he's trying to save her, going on his whole journey with Ellie, seeing, you know, what he's kind of become over the years, his struggles, his, you know, depression and everything. Joel really connected with me personally. I mean, so did Ellie too. They both connected with me. And losing him in part 2, the only word to describe what happened to Joel in part 2 is pain. I've never been so shook by a game in my life. And you know, when you're going to his house and you're looking around his house and everything, Ellie sniffing his jacket, oh my god, tears. The tears were flowing. The heart was hurting. Oh man. He's like the perfect character to be in the first game. You know, he's just like your everyday dude who gets put in situations, and for the most part, his actions mirror what almost everyone would do in that situation. Now, you can ride your high horse and say, oh, Joel's a villain. He fucked the world. If you were in his position, you would have done the same thing, bro. And like Joel said in the end of part 2, If he had a second chance, he would have done it all over again. No regrets. Troy even said when Joel did what he did to save Ellie, he knew that there would be repercussions for what he did, and he accepted whatever repercussions were going to come to him because of it, because Ellie would live. And I think almost anyone would do that for their loved one. I mean, his character arc is fantastic. His development is fantastic. Troy, same thing as Ashley. You get all of the awards. Mail him every award in the world. Troy, you get it. You fucking killed it. The chemistry with Ellie, with Tommy. I mean, it's Joel. I've been rambling. I've been going on. I love this dude. Let's continue. R.I.P. We love and miss you, Joel. Now, Jordan. Let's right where you belong. Okay. I mean, really? Does anyone like Jordan? No, no one likes fucking Jordan. Fuck your face, bro. We don't care. I enjoyed watching Ellie shank you in the throat. That sounds fucked up and I have issues, but I'm okay with it because fuck you. And now we got Lil Lev. I'll be straight up. First time I played the game, I was very lukewarm on him. I was like, okay. I get what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be Abby's Ellie, minus the personality and just lovability to me of Ellie. Second and third time and fourth and whatever time, he's grown on me. I don't love him. I don't hate him. He's very middle of the road. I think he has great moments. He brings Abby down to earth sometimes, like when she's about to fucking cut Dina's head off when Ellie says she's pregnant. And he's like, yo, dog, fucking chill. He has moments, like when he's joking with Abby about her relationship with Owen being really awkward when they're on, like, the sky bridges. Like, he's got his moments. I like him. I like just his story and learning about the Seraphites and everything. I think he was a good gateway into that. But I think I'm going to give him a B. He's a good character. I want more and see where they take him. Right now, he's a B. Okay, and next up on the list, we got Manny. And what is this? A new row, you say? A new row when I snap my fingers?
Screw it. Let's just...
Oh my god, out of thin air, we've gained a new row on our chart. It's the fuck you, Manny, you piece of shit tier. Wow, it's magic, guys. And guess where Manny goes? In the fuck you, Manny, you piece of shit tier. Okay, moving on. We've got Maria. Maria is a character that I was interested to see what they were going to do with in part 2, because in part 1, she's there just as Tommy's wife. You see her for like a minute, and then she's just kind of gone. I was interested to see what they were going to do with her in part 2. I wanted more of Tommy, so I kind of wanted more of her too. Got a little bit more of her, but not a lot. Not a lot to make me love her or hate her or whatever. She's very, she's there. I like her, I guess. I'm gonna put her at C. I just think she's very underwhelming. Next up on the list, this is a tricky one. We've got Marlene. Now, Marlene is the leader of the Fireflies. She basically raised Ellie, kind of. She's the one that gives Joel and Tess the job to smuggle Ellie across the country. That basically propels the whole first game into motion. She's a tough one for me. I like her. I don't love her because she ends up kind of being shitty to Joel, but then Joel kind of fucking wrecks her shit. I like the scene a lot with her in part 2 with Jerry. Just so you can kind of see her mind state about the whole surgery with Ellie and everything. I thought that was good for her character. Damn, what am I going to give Marlene? My guts tell me a B. I'm going to give Marlene a B. I think she's interesting. and I liked her character and all the Firefly stuff and everything, and that scene in part 2 I really like, so we'll give her a B. Alright, next up, we've got Mel. I mean, I'm just gonna be blunt, I don't like you. You were there for killing Joel. You go out in the field when you're pregnant, putting your kid at risk, so you're stupid too. And you're just very blah. There's no personality or anything. It was fucked up when she died, but I mean, the only scene I really liked with her was when she was like getting into like the fight with Abby, saying she was a piece of shit and stuff, and that she was bad for Yara and Lev. I don't know, she was just very meh. Mel's meh. Next up on the list, we've got Nora. I fucking despise Nora. I was happy we killed you. You called Joel a little bitch. And fuck you, bitch. Next up is Owen. Now, Owen is tricky for me because he's really the only person out of Abby's little entourage of dickheads that I actually kind of like. He's got humanity to him. He's kind of got a code. He's not brainwashed by the wolves. You know, he kind of sees everything for what it is. He acknowledges his time with the Fireflies, that the Fireflies did, you know, bad shit. He knows the wolves do terrible shit. And he eventually is kind of like, you know what? I'm done. I don't give a shit about these factions anymore. I don't care. I want to go live my life. The Fireflies are regrouping. I want to go there. I want to try to start my life over. He's got a really, you know, messed up, messy love triangle. Cheats on Mel for Abby. That's really the only thing about him I don't like, is that he's a cheater. Other than that, I think he's a good character. I think he's mainly a good guy. So I think I'm gonna put Owen at B. I liked Owen, or scumbag for cheating, but other than that, I like you. Okay, next up on our list, we got Riley from Left Behind, the DLC for the first Last of Us game. She's Ellie's like best friend, first girlfriend, and I like her. I mean, I think she's kind of similar to Ellie personality-wise. I like the chemistry between the two of them. I think you got a pretty good sense of her character. You know, she's not the most fleshed out character ever. And I don't think she's like an amazing character. I definitely like her a lot. And I mean, I haven't played Left Behind in a while, so maybe I'm underrating her a little bit, but to me, she belongs in the B tier. I like her a lot. I don't think she's like a Joel or Ellie or like a Henry or anyone else. Like, I don't think she's at that level, but just a smidge below A tier for me. And next up on the list, we got Sam. Like I said before, the Henry and Sam story was great. It was sad. Terrible ending. Sam gets infected, and Henry ends up having to kill him. And then Henry ends up killing himself. I mean, just a heartbreaking scene that affects Ellie. Ellie and Sam's relationship was just cool. I liked it a lot, you know, with the toy robot and everything. But if I'm being honest, Sam is kind of annoying to me sometimes. I think he's a little whiny and babyish. Now that could just be a little bit more of a credit to Ellie being so tough. Same thing, he's not in the A tier for me. I'd put Sam at B. I think he's a very impactful character like Henry, but overall, I don't think he's in the upper echelon. I think he's a little below it. Now, next up, we got Sarah. Sarah is the daughter of Joel. You meet her for a little bit, you get to play as her for a little bit, and then she gets murdered. And it's one of the most heartbreaking scenes out of anything I've ever seen. Thinking about it makes the well start to run a little bit. She's just a sweet little girl. She's funny. I liked her a lot. She's another tough one for me, where it's like you really don't get much of her, but what you get is so impactful that I think I gotta respect that. Just her picture is impactful. Whenever you see a picture of her. Like when Ellie gives Joel the picture, it's impactful. And in part 2, when you go to Joel's house and her pictures in the frame next to the one of him and Ellie, she really is an impactful character. And I think for that and for what we got of her, I think I gotta give her an A. This is just a personal thing, you know? She's not a fleshed out character at all. She's really just there to, you know, start the story, get Joel where he needs to be, so you get his mindset and everything. But even though she's kind of a tool for the story, I think she's a hell of a tool. Next up on the list, we got Seth. We don't want you here. We don't want your bigot sandwiches.
What you got there?
Bigot sandwiches.
Smells good.
Steak or not, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here. We hate you, dog. Next up, we got Tess. Tess is, I think, a very underrated and underappreciated Last of Us character. She is great. She's a badass. I just like her personality a lot. Her and Joel's, like, unspoken relationship, their chemistry together. It's her and Joel in the beginning of the game, and then she sacrifices herself so Joel and Ellie can basically escape and live. And that scene is another really impactful, really memorable one, a sad one too. She shows Joel the bite, basically tells Joel that he has to get Ellie to the Fireflies because the cure is real. Starts to convince Joel a little bit. Really, without her, we don't know if Joel would have finished the mission, and without her, Joel wouldn't have taken the mission from Marlene. So really, she's to credit for really everything that happens, if you really think about it. So I'm gonna put her in A tier. I think she needs some more respect. Now, next up, speaking of more respect, we got Tommy. He's fucking GOAT status. We love Tommy here. We love Tommy. What a guy. I was really hoping that we got more Tommy in part 2, and we did, but I wanted even more, because what we saw of him in part 2 was so great. I mean, he's basically Ellie's uncle. He's funny. He's got like this kind of cowboy charm to him. When I thought that, when they make you think in part 2 that Tommy just got shot in the head, I was a mess. I was like, bruh, like, I didn't want to play. Because I was like, did Tommy just get capped in the head? The entire time until we see that he lived, I was just sitting there, I was like, but is Tommy dead? And when you find out that he lived, but he's fucking blind and his leg is messed up, it's so sad. And then the scene with Ellie and him at the farmhouse is another one that's so sad. Because just like Ellie's on a different part of the journey where she's trying to let the revenge, you know, kind of go out the back door, even though it's still there and she's got PTSD. But now Tommy is overcome with revenge, because really, when you think about it, he really loses the most in the game. He loses his brother. He loses Jesse, who's a big member of his community that he started. He loses his wife. He loses his vision. He loses, like, basically his leg. He can't really walk the right way. I mean, Tommy gets fucked over. Really sad story for Tommy. I was kind of hoping that if Joel died, Tommy would kind of replace Joel. I thought that would have been a cool dynamic. I mean, it could still happen. I don't know if it would happen. I don't know how realistic it is. It could still happen, but I would love to see it, but I don't think it will happen. And shout out to Jeffrey Pierce. You fucking killed it as Tommy. Next up on the list, we got Yara. And I'll just be straight up, I'm not crazy about Yara. She kind of just feels like a plot device to me a little bit. I don't feel like she has a lot of personality or anything. I never got attached to her. Like when she died, I really didn't feel anything. I was just like, oh shit, she's dead. I think I'm just gonna put her at C. Not really into her like that. Just whatever. And now we got
Potato.
Where are we gonna put Potato? I mean, he's not really a character yet. He's just Potato. I mean, all the stuff with him and Ellie is freaking adorable. All the stuff with him and Dina is adorable. I mean, he's just a little baby. He's cute. He's happy. He's Jesse Jr., Jesse Joel, whatever JJ stands for. He's not really a character yet. It'd be interesting to see if they do a time jump in part 3 if he's older. I would like to see him a little bit more grown up. But right now, I think I'm just going to put him at B for baby. B for baby. And that's going to do it. So this is my official ranking of the Last of Us characters. Hopefully this video isn't too long. If you watched this, I just want to say thank you so much. If you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe. More videos to come. If you like video games, if you like movies, music, TV, basketball, please subscribe. I'm going to have more content coming. Leave ideas below in the comments, or just suggestions in the comments of what you want to see or anything like that. Or if you just want to talk to me, give me your opinion. Do you agree or disagree? Am I stupid? Am I spot on? Let me know. My main source of content, if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'm trying to get affiliated on Twitch. It's the same thing as my YouTube. Just give me a follow, I'd appreciate it. I stream a whole bunch of different games. I got a PS5 coming, so I'll have some PS5 content for you guys too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bravo 6, going dark.
I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going